You're looking for a gaming laptop that can also handle some light video editing, but you don't want to break the bank with the brand newest laptop out there. This is the video that you've been looking for as we review this laptop right here. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. Thank you for joining this channel today. If you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to do that by clicking the button down below. It helps us out a lot and it helps get that exposure so that others can find this video as well. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about this laptop right here. This is my personal laptop. This is an HP Pavilion. This is a gaming laptop. It is the 15 EC1073DX. That's the model number. Now there are different variants of this laptop, but I want to review this specific laptop and talk about if it's the right laptop for you today. Now let's cover a few of the specs of this laptop first, which this one has an AMD Ryzen 5 processor. Now I know a lot of people wonder, well, is Intel better? Is AMD better? What's the differences between the two? Personally, right now, AMD is offering the best bang for the buck. That means that your dollars will go a lot farther when you're looking at an AMD processor, especially when you're looking at a laptop and especially when you're looking for a budget laptop. Now, if you're talking about spending a lot of money, and when I say a lot of money, I mean like in the $2,000 range, you can get some good Intel-based laptops, but you also get some really good AMD-based processors in that price range as well. But in the budget range or the sub $1,000 range, you can't get a better processor than an AMD. Now, personally, I prefer the Ryzen 5. If you can get it, a Ryzen 7 is good too, but Ryzen 5 is probably what you're gonna be finding when you're looking below $1,000. Now, I'm also talking about used laptops. So this particular laptop is about 2 years old now. Does that mean it's no good? Well, we're gonna find out as we talk further about the specs and what I've personally used this for. I've been using this laptop for about a year now, and I have a lot of experience trying it in a number of different scenarios, which I can explain to you and you can decide if this is the laptop for you or if you want to find something else. Now this, like I said, it has the Ryzen 5 4600H processor. So this is a 6-core processor rated at 3 gigahertz and it has 12 CPU threads. It supports turbo up to 4 gigahertz. So this is actually a pretty strong laptop. And what it's mainly designed for is gaming, because this one also comes with an NVIDIA GTX 1650 video card. Now the 1650 is in the 10 series video cards, which are a few years old now, but the 1650 was only recently released by using some of the best technology of the 10 series to release a laptop-friendly video card. So this video card actually does very well when compared against a 3050. So that's a current gen video card. It will spec for spec match that performance. Now obviously a 3050 is not the best video card out there, but keep in mind we're talking about a laptop, not a gaming rig. This one also has a 15.6 inch HD screen. It is a 1920 by 1080 resolution. They claim that it's an IPS panel, and I suppose it is, but the first downside I have to talk about is the viewing angle on this screen. When you look at it off center, the viewing angle is quite bad and color reproduction goes a little bit kind of weird. Especially around the edges. Now this one comes with a 256 gigabyte SSD. It's plenty fast enough for running Windows and core programs, but it is quite small. Now fortunately, this one actually has an expansion slot where you can add an additional hard drive. If you wanted to, you can add another SSD drive. It has 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which is pretty much standard in this kind of range of laptop. Because the RAM is not soldered to the motherboard, you can remove both sticks and go up to 32 gigabytes, but you would have to take the standard 2 8 gigabyte cores out and then put in 16 gigabytes. So you'll have to downgrade before you can upgrade. Some of the pros of this laptop, it is very budget friendly. So this was about a $1,200 laptop when it was brand new. Now you can find this very laptop for around $500 or $600. And that's a huge advantage because it is still a very capable machine. It has a good keyboard with decent travel. The keyboard lights up with only green, so it's green and it's on or off. You don't have different colors that you can choose from. It does keep really cool. It has really good cooling, and especially when you're using it on a table such as this, it will keep the internals quite cool. We talked about the panel already. It is a 144 Hertz panel with fast reaction times and 90% of sRGB coverage. Now, again, this has a matte screen over top of it, and it does create a little bit of viewing angle issues, but the actual panel itself is very capable, especially when you're talking about gaming and or editing, either in Premiere Pro or in Photoshop for photo editing. It will reproduce a large chunk of the color range that you're looking for. So what you see is what you get. This also has a number of ports on it. So it's got a USB on this side. Over here, it's got another USB. It has a USB-C, a full Ethernet port, HDMI port, and it does come with an SD card reader. This also has Wi-Fi 802.11 AC, so it does have relatively high-speed Wi-Fi, and it has Bluetooth 5.0 and a physical 3.5 millimeter audio jack, which is a combo, so you can have a headset plugged into this as well. Of course, it includes a web camera, backlit keyboard, microphone, speakers. That's more or less the specs of the laptop. Now, I want to get into my impressions. What do I think of this laptop? So what have I been using this for? I've been using this mainly for editing these YouTube videos. So I film in 4K, I edit in 4K. So I'm doing a basic 4K video edit with GoPro footage, multiple jump cuts, transitions, that sort of thing. It's not a super heavy edit, but it is more than probably your average edit that most people are doing, and it handles it just fine. So there's no slowdown, there's no stuttering. It will play back fine in the viewer window, and it works quite well for that. Because it has the 1650 video card, it'll actually render out your videos quite quickly as well. And so a typical video of mine runs between 8 and 15 minutes. A 15-minute video will render out in about 5 to 10 minutes. If you're trying to figure out, how much time you're going to spend sitting around waiting for this machine, basically for every 2 minutes of video, it takes roughly 1 minute to render out. So half of the time of the total video. If you had a 30-minute video, it would take about 15 minutes for that to render out, which is quite quick. Like, that's not slow. So typically what I will do is once I'm rendering the video out, I will go onto YouTube. I will start figuring out what I'm going to do for my thumbnail, for my description and all that. And by the time I have my thumbnail built or created, I have the video rendered out and I'm able to start uploading that video. So you won't be waiting for it for very long. This will also handle Photoshop, which I use to create my thumbnails and that sort of thing. Light picture editing. And then there's the gaming side. Now, I don't do a lot of gaming, but what I can tell you is that this will handle Call of Duty Warzone at regular settings. So roughly equivalent to the PlayStation 4, maybe an Xbox Series S level of graphics, and it will handle those at about 80 frames per second. So I have it set to dynamically adjust the resolution so that I can maintain 80 frames per second. So it will drop a little bit sometimes and it will boost it sometimes. And it handles that quite well. There's no stuttering, there's no screen tearing, there's nothing like that. And it works very, very well. So this is a very good all-around laptop. It will handle gaming of even the newest games, but you will have reduced resolution. The panel's only a 1080p panel anyway, so it's not a big deal. You will be maxing the panel out before you're maxing the video card out. The downsides. I'm not used to such a big laptop. I prefer something that's a little bit more portable. So this one is quite big. It's plugged in right now just because it's almost dead and I needed to record my screen capture while I'm doing this. Again, I can't say anything good about the panel. I really am not excited. It's dim. You're not going to be using it outdoors because it's not bright enough to use outdoors. Indoors, it is bright enough, but you've got to be looking straight onto this panel or slightly angled down a little bit. As soon as you go up on it, it gets a little bit fuzzy. As soon as you go to the sides a little bit, again, it gets a little bit distorted, and it's not as clear, it's not as crisp. So I'm not too excited about that. The speakers are not that great either. B&O makes the speakers for this laptop. They look cool with this like honeycomb style design on there, but there's not a lot of volume. They sound kind of tinny, and they don't really fill the room as much as you would hope, especially from a big laptop. The keyboard, it's more or less a full-size keyboard, but it's weird for me. I mistype everything using this keyboard. I'm used to using a little bit smaller laptop, and even my keyboard over here on my editing rig it just isn't a direct one-to-one swap. And so it's difficult to get used to, and I've never gotten used to it. I have to actually slow down and watch what I'm doing while I'm typing because the keyboard's just a little bit off. Something's a little bit off, and I'm not sure what it is. I think it's the key spacing's just a little bit too big for what they're trying to do here. The build quality is really not great. It's kind of bad. It's very flexy, it's plastic, it creaks, it groans, the touchpad's kind of weird. I mean, really, it sounds like I'm actually dumping all over this thing, but I go back to the price. For the price, you will not beat this laptop. You just won't. So when you're looking for a laptop, if you can find one that has the same specs as this and has a different form factor, so the case is maybe smaller, the screen's a little bit better, you could certainly buy that and you'd be doing okay. So I'll show you real quickly what I use when I'm looking at a laptop to decide if it's any good. So I'm looking on Kijiji. I know a lot of guys in the States don't use it a lot. It's kind of like Craigslist, but it's owned by eBay. It works pretty good up here. There's a lot of people that sell in my area on Kijiji or Facebook Market. When you're looking for a laptop, again, I'm searching for just the keyword 1650 because that'll pull up the GPU that's in this laptop and it'll hopefully find something comparable. Now, I've told you this is a good laptop as far as the performance goes. It edits the videos great, it plays games great, it does all of that real great. The complaints I have are largely the screen and the keyboard. So if you can find similar specs in a different laptop with a better screen and a better keyboard, well, you'd be laughing. So you know that this one's about $500–600. So the first one I find here is an Acer Nitro 5. So this has an Intel processor, and we'll compare how that looks to the AMD, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. So this one, they're asking $550, and it's a 15-inch laptop, so it'll be comparable in screen size. The keyboard is comparable. It's FHD 120 Hertz, which is actually a little bit better monitor what this one is, which is excellent. So here's what I do. I go when I want to compare laptops, and I would use my laptop specs as the comparison for whatever you're looking for if you're looking for something else. So all I do is go like this, 10300H versus, and this is a 4600H. Like that. That's all I'm going to type into Google and I hit enter. The first result that will come back is CPU user benchmark. If it is not, then look for that because this is the one that we go to. Now, this will compare head to head those two processors, and you can see very quickly what the spec difference is. And I'm going to show you why I say that Intel's not as good as AMD. So the Core i5 10300H, that's in the laptop, the Acer Nitro. The Ryzen 5 4600H, that's what's in this laptop. Now, here's one thing that we look at is user benchmark. So the Intel one is ranked 227, and the Ryzen 5 is ranked 218. So already the Ryzen 5 is a little bit better than the i5. It also ranks it for gaming. So for gaming, they say they're both the same. As a desktop, they say that the Core i5 is better. And as a workstation, look at this. Now, I use this for video editing. That's my primary reason for using a laptop like this. As a workstation, the i5 is only 63% versus this one 73%. I promise you, you can feel the difference. Now, why does it rank so differently? This is the key. This Intel Core i5 is only a 4-core, 8-thread processor at 2.5 gigahertz. It was released in 2020. The Ryzen 5 was released about the same time in 2020, but as we already covered, it is a 6-core, 12-thread, which runs at 3 gigahertz with a 4 gigahertz turbo. So it's so much more powerful per core, and it has more cores. So when you're looking at anything that you need to do any kind of workflow or processing, you want those more cores. And AMD with the Ryzen 5 and the Ryzen 7, they're just putting more cores into all of their processors. They're getting that core count up, and that's why they work so much better when you're looking for productivity-based laptops. The desktops, again, would be very similar. Plus, your dollars just go so much further. You don't have the Intel tax on there. So it'll go down and get into more of the nitty gritty about everything. So that's what I do. Now let's pretend that you found a different laptop and you wanna, say, okay, well, Anton, I know you say this one's good, but I found this other one and it's better. So here's this one, Asus ROG Strix G. Now this should be a really good laptop, right? Look at that, they've got, it's a good looking laptop just right from the start. Is it any good compared to this? So when you're like, maybe this isn't the laptop for you, but I've already told you this laptop, what it can do, and you're looking at this one. Now this one's $1,000. He's asking $1,100. That's a lot of money to ask for a used laptop. They only posted it 9 days ago, but let's check this out. So it has the same video card. We've already seen that. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM. It has a bigger PCIe NVMe SSD storage. So it's double 512 versus 256 and a bigger screen. But it has an Intel Core i7 9750H. Is that any good? I don't know. So what you're gonna do, again, go to Google and you're gonna say 4600H because that's what my laptop has. And then whatever laptop you found that you want to compare it to, you're going to compare it to that. So in this case, it's a 9750H. So we're going to say versus 9750H, like that. Hit enter. Now user benchmark again comes up first, and you want to pay attention to which one is on which side. So even though I said the AMD processor first, it actually drops it into the second side. This one is a Core i7. We know that already from his ad. It has 6 cores, 12 threads. What a coincidence, my AMD processor has 6 cores, 12 threads. We know that because we looked it up. This i7 is a little bit older. It has 2.6 gigahertz of core speed, whereas mine has 3 gigahertz. So mine still has a faster core speed. It doesn't say what the turbo speed is. And again, look at this. So gaming, 78% versus 77%. Desktop, 81% versus 77%. And as a workstation, holy crap, 66% for the i7 versus 73% for the AMD. Now again, it'll get into other specs, but the thing that I wanted to point out to you is this Intel-based gaming laptop is $1,100. You might think that because it's $1,100, it's a better laptop. But if you're looking at it to do your desktop processing, so video editing, Photoshop, anything like that, creating stuff, editing stuff, this laptop is not gonna be any better than the one that I just reviewed for you right here. As a gaming laptop, it actually won't really be much better. It's just gonna be more expensive. And you can see from here, there's other ones that are running a similar processor to me. This guy here. So this guy is running $700, Ryzen 5, exactly the same as me, 700 bucks. So again, you might have to shop around to find it, but this is a very good laptop. Even though I complain about the little nitpicky things, it's still a very, very good laptop, especially in this time. Now, if you're looking at different laptops, go ahead and look at different laptops, compare them in user benchmark like I showed, and that'll give you a good benchmark to decide, is the one you're looking at better, and is the dollars to performance ratio really there? Because this one is a very high dollars to performance ratio. It performs very well for the price that you'll pay. This particular one's actually for sale right now because I have upgraded. I have a couple other laptop reviews that I'm going to be releasing shortly because I've gone through a couple laptops in a short period of time as I search for the perfect laptop. This one wasn't quite perfect for me, and I'm gonna show you the one that is perfect for me, but we gotta get through a couple other reviews first. I hope to see you again, and you can check those ones out. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. you'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.